Hey everyone, Riyadh from Right Home Realty.
Hello, everyone. Will Ellis from Home Realty.
Hello, everyone. Denise Ranger of Ranger-Paralegal Service.
Pleasure to have you today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Nice.
Perfect. Well, describe your business and what makes your business stand out.
Okay. So I think for me, I'll do the what my business is first, which is I'm a licensed paralegal. So I provide legal services in areas of landlord tenant boards, so residential tenancies at the landlord tenant board level, as well as small claims court matters. Both of those areas involve monetary amounts of up to $35,000 per application or per claim. And some things can get very, very interesting. One of the ways that I try to stand out is to focus on a niche, which is basically anything that touches real estate. I've always had a soft spot for real estate. So,
were you a real estate agent at one time, from my memory?
Yes, I was a very long time ago with a wonderful firm called Remax Ability, local to Durham region. And as a result of being involved in that part of the industry and both the sales as well as the drafting of the contracts and things, I really found a voice for myself that I really love the advocacy part on behalf of my clients. Finding that perfect house was always wonderful, and writing the contract was really exciting too. But advocating and negotiating the agreement of purchase and sale was always something that I really, really loved. So I decided to switch teams, and now I provide legal services for people who, whose things don't go quite so well.
Okay. Okay, so tell us your story. How did you get here? What made you get into this? And where are you from originally?
Okay, so I'm a Oshawa girl through and through.
Okay.
Grew up here from a very young age. I've watched the city grow, and the good, bad, and the ugly that you see with any fairly reasonably large municipality. And I love the place. I don't think I could leave right now at all. And my friends are here, and my colleagues are here, and this is where my business is, and so I love it. As far as how I got to be in the business that I'm in now, as we touched on it a moment ago, it stemmed from real estate, but I've always been involved with service industry, customer service, consulting, helping people. So eventually I got into real estate and absolutely loved it, but there were things about it that didn't quite suit my lifestyle goals. So I decided to switch, and I went back to school and became a paralegal. So now I provide legal services, like I said, to people who have matters involving small claims court, mostly involving things involving property, whether it be breach of contract or breach of an agreement of purchase and sale, or contractor issues involving, somebody's hired a contractor to do some work on their home. As well as residential tenancies, which seems to kind of go hand in hand. And I've been very, very fortunate in this area where I've got a lot of support coming from the community. And so my business is thriving right now.
And do you focus mainly in Durham region, or it could be anywhere?
Well, initially that's where I focus. But one of the, bonuses of the whole pandemic and the COVID issues that we've gone through over the last couple of years is that the Landlord Tenant Board has expanded and moved. Basically, they've put their focus on all of their hearings is digital first. So that allows people like myself who provide legal services in that area to assist people all over Ontario. So it doesn't matter if you're in the GTA or in the greater GTA, or if you're in Timmins, or if you're in Sudbury, or you're in wherever. If there's a landlord tenant board matter, I can help you.
Very nice.
So you mentioned that little thing called the COVID, and so
COVID thing.
so coming out of COVID, which I think we are coming out of it slowly. And now we're seeing some fingers crossed. Now we're seeing some, things happening with the rental market. What are the things? What things are coming across your desk?
Right now, as you are aware, the just housing in general is a hot topic.
Yes.
The real estate market has been crazy busy, as I'm sure you know that. But on the flip side of that, because prices have gone so high, I'm also seeing that reflected in both the rental market, where people who are looking to rent a property getting involved in bidding wars, and the selection there's a very low inventory on that as well. Part and parcel of all of that is there are a lot of landlords out there who are looking to cash in on this market with their investment properties. So I am seeing an abundance of requests for assistance in getting a tenant to either vacate a property, or assisting with the process of a purchaser or purchasing a tenanted property and what that involves. And I'm also seeing an awful lot of requests for what they call cash for keys, which is basically a generic term for both parties, landlords and tenants, getting together and coming to some sort of an agreement to end the tenancy amicably without having to proceed all the way to the landlord tenant board. It's just an out of court settlement, but they can get pretty complex.
Now, with the cash for keys program, which we've talked about before, is it, do you work with the landlord only, or do you work with tenants, or work with both sides?
I can only work for one side or the other,
Right.
due to confidentiality issues.
Right.
But I have worked on both sides, and I do work on both sides. So I can see things from the landlord's point of view, and I can very easily see things from the tenant's point of view. And it's kind of the Wild West. It's really fun. And that for me, that's sort of the heart of advocacy, is sitting down at trying to bring parties together in a negotiation, to get something that all parties will live with.
Perfect. Now, with that, I'm going to keep asking questions to Riyadh until you get tired of me
That's
speaking.
okay.
But to make that process, because I've dealt with clients and landlords and tenants in this situation.
Yep.
What helps that process go smoothly?
Having a reality check really is kind of the beginning for me.
Yeah.
There are people out there that think that just because something is uncomfortable, that it's illegal or wrong. I've had parties come to me and say, "Oh, my tenant's trying to extort me," and that's not true, because that's an actual legal term, which means you have to have criteria, and it doesn't really rise to that level. I've had tenants come to me and say, "Oh, my landlord's trying to kick me out now. I want, how much money can I get?" And,
Right.
and again, that on the other side, it's like, it's not reasonable to ask for or think that you're going to get $100,000 from your landlord because they want to sell a property.
Right.
Somewhere in the middle is where we usually land. And it all depends on the parties and their willingness to be reasonable.
Now, what if someone is unreasonable? How does that get resolved?
That gets interesting.
Right.
Usually my approach to that is, when somebody is being unreasonable, there's usually a reason for it. And that if you poke hard enough, you'll probably, or in the right places, you'll probably find some sort of weakness, or at the very least, a bargaining chip.
Right.
So it's trying to go to the heart of the reason why the person appears on the face to be unreasonable. Ask them why.
Yep.
And that's my job, is to ask enough questions until somebody gives me an answer that makes sense.
Interesting. What motivates you each day?
Oh my gosh. I try to use my powers for good. I really do.
Right.
There's that. I mean, I love getting up and trying to run a business and doing good for people. And at the end of the day, when I get an email or a call from a client or somebody that I've helped, and they just say, "You know what, I don't think I could have done that without you. Awesome job. Thank you so much." That's a huge reward for me.
100%.
That's awesome.